Rheumatic fever is one of the complications associated with strep throat. So what happens here is that heart cell antigens that resemble the autoantigen is heart cell antigens that resemble strep bacteria antigens. Now, what is this strep bacteria antigens? We'll just discuss a bit of this also. Strep throat is a contagious disease caused by infection with a bacterium called streptococcal bacteria, which causes inflammation and swelling of the mucous membranes lining the back of throat and tonsils. It's a common cause of sore throat in small children, school-going children, and teenagers, and its prompt diagnosis and treatment is important. Otherwise, it may lead to various complications because not necessarily that rheumatic fever is always, the strep throat is always, may lead to rheumatic fever. So one has to be very careful in while diagnosing this condition. Otherwise, this is caused by heart cell antigens that resemble this strep bacteria antigens. Very common in places like sub-Saharan Africa, South Central Asia, and certain populations in Australia and New Zealand also. Then comes the next important disorder, that is the glomerulonephritis. So two terms, glomerulus as we have studied and nephritis. So glomerulonephritis. Now this glomerulonephritis, as you are aware of, our kidneys have got glomeruli. So if there is inflammation of the glomeruli, if they are damaged, so kidneys will stop working properly, and then it may lead to subsequently may lead to kidney failure. Now the autoantigens for this are that kidney cell antigens. I think there is some correction over here. We'll just examine it once. Yeah, this autoantigens include for this glomerulonephritis kidney cell antigens. Again, these cells, these antigens, they resemble strep bacteria antigens. So here the kidney failure may take place if disease is not taken care of properly. It's a serious illness that can be life-threatening and requires immediate treatment. The condition is sometimes also called nephritis. Now this nephritis may be sudden when it is called acute, and that condition is called glomerulonephritis, and it may be chronic also, that is long term recurring glomerulonephritis. So under both these conditions one has to take care of this disease. Now acute condition, now why this is acute glomerulonephritis? It can be a response to an infection such as strep throat, as I've already said, or an abscessus tooth. It may be due to problems with the immune system overreacting to the infection also at times. So this is basically leads to subsequently the kidney failure. Then comes the next important disorder, that is juvenile diabetes. Now in juvenile diabetes, the autoantigens are pancreatic beta cells. As you are aware of, there are the pancreas has got two parts, exocrine gland part and the endocrine gland. In endocrine gland there are alpha cells, beta cells, gamma, and so on. So these beta cells which are there in the pancreas, so pancreatic beta cells, they start behaving as antigens. So and then they cause because of this activity of these cells, juvenile diabetes takes place. This juvenile diabetes is also called type 1 diabetes, and as we know that the beta cells in our body, they are they are secreting a very important hormone called insulin. Now this type 1 juvenile diabetes basically is due to uh, non-functioning of our beta cells, which are responsible for making insulin otherwise. But at times, not necessarily that this condition is due to destruction of overactivity of beta cells, or rather that pancreatic beta cells start making autoantigens. It may also take place due to some accident or otherwise, where this disease may take place, and there may be some pancreatic ailment. So this, there may be secondary diabetes also, but this is similar to type 1 because again the reason is same, that is the pancreas or the cells of the pancreas are injured or maybe destroyed by because of some reason. Insulin, as you are aware of, is a hormone that helps move sugar or glucose uh, from the blood into our body's tissue. So, and cells use this as a fuel, a very important part, that is glucose. So, next order comes is the myasthenia gravis. Now, in myasthenia gravis, what happens? The autoantigens are the receptors for nerve messages on skeletal muscles. As you are aware of, very important neurotransmitter, acetylcholine. So this acetylcholine, what happens here? The receptors for nerve messages on skeletal muscles, they start acting as autoantigens. So that this disease is called myasthenia gravis. Myasthenia gravis is a chronic autoimmune uh, neuromuscular disease characterized by varying degree of weakness of the skeletal muscles of the body. Well, you are aware of the skeletal muscles are the voluntary muscles in our body. Now, from where this name has come, the name Myasthenia gravis, it's basically a Latin name. In Latin, it means grave muscle weakness. So, there's a grave muscle weakness occurs, and this disease takes place. Now, it is caused by a defect in the transmission of nerve impulses to muscles. Here, the nerve impulses, they fail to transmit properly to the muscles. It occurs when normal communication between the nerve and muscle is interrupted at the neuromuscular junction. You have already studied about the synapse. So neuromuscular junction, here we find that this normal communication does not take place. So in myasthenia gravis, antibodies block, alter or destroy the receptors for acetylcholine at the neuromuscular junction. So where these junctions of neurons and muscles are present, what happens here? These antibodies, they block or alter or destroy the receptors which are there for acetylcholine. So now message can't be transferred. So subsequently what happens? The muscle will not twitch or the muscle contraction will not occur. Myasthenia gravis is an autoimmune disease because the immune system, otherwise the immune system is supposed to protect the body. But here what happens? It starts acting as a foreign organism. So this disease takes place, again a quite dangerous ailment. The next one is the pernicious anemia. Uh, Pernicious anemia. Now, pernicious anemia, also known as vitamin B12 deficiency anemia, is a disease in which there are not enough red blood cells due to lack of vitamin B12. Uh, the causes that vitamin B12 cannot be produced by the human body, as you are aware of, that the vitamin B12 cannot be produced by the human body and must be obtained from the diet. When foods containing, we eat different types of foods which contain this vitamin. Uh, so when foods containing B12 are eaten, the vitamin is usually bound to protein and is released by stomach acid. Following its release, most B12 is absorbed by the body in the ileum after binding to a protein known as uh, intrinsic factor. You have studied about this intrinsic factor in your when you were studying about the human digestive system. So this intrinsic factor, which we find here, is produced by parietal cells of which factor I said? Intrinsic factor. So this intrinsic factor this factor is secreted by, is produced by, if you remember, the parietal cells of the gastric mucosa, gastric, that is stomach, so gastric mucosa. So here we find that intrinsic factor is produced by these parietal cells of the gastric mucosa, and the intrinsic factor B12 complex is absorbed by tubulin receptors on the ileum epithelial cells. So that is how the whole thing works over here. In pernicious anemia, It is characterized by as so very clearly by B12 deficiency. Uh, Now, what is the autoantigen? Autoantigen here is binding site for vitamin B on cells lining stomach. So this part starts working against the body here, and subsequently we find this stomach atrophy taking place. Now, there may be variety of reasons for this particular ailment. Helicobacter pylori infection may be involved in the pathogenesis of the disease. That is one reason. Uh, Now, if a person is infected with the say Helicobacter pylori, this bacterium, then it may cause gastric autoimmunity, because otherwise why should the stomach lining stop making or stop synthesizing this factor? So it is again because of some problem in the cells of the stomach. So if there's a long standing ailment or infection of this pylori Helicobacter pylori, then in that case this may take place, and this is a mechanism which is controlled by a phenomenon called molecular mimicry. Then next comes rheumatoid arthritis. So rheumatoid arthritis is caused by the autoantigen here is the cell lining joints. Now this rheumatoid arthritis is a long lasting autoimmune disorder that primarily affects our joints. It typically results in warm, swollen, and painful joints. The person finds the joint is warm, then it may swell up, and then times it's very painful. So pain and stiffness often worsen following rest. When you take rest, subsequently when you try to get up, you find, oh my God, there's too much of pain. So most commonly the wrist and hands are involved in this, with the same joints typically involved on both sides of the body. Then the cause of this rheumatoid arthritis is not very clear. It is believed to be a sort of you can say a combination of genetic and environmental factors. So genetic, I have told you that cell lining joints there, but now the cause is not very clear yet. So with this, we finish these important autoimmune disorders. For notes, you can refer to the place of notes on the website has been conveyed. Then we students, we come to very important part, organ transplantation. Now, what is this organ transplantation?